All right, what's going on, guys and gals? Let's do something else again. Let's do a little chit chat about batteries and keeping your batteries strapped in. I'll be honest, this is something I think every pilot starts to struggle with early on. And until they figure out what just works for them, they go through like tons of crazy things. Different battery straps, different ways of covering different batteries, and all these things. For the last three and a half years, have never really had too big of an issue with losing batteries. I've directed a lot of races and seen a lot of events though where people have had danglers. So when you've got a bottom mounted battery and the battery strap system kind of fails, or whatever you do to keep your battery in place, it doesn't work. You've got the bottom mounted battery and it starts to dangle, and it's basically held on by the XT60 connection until it either isn't or until you land. Lots of this always happens at events. And I think the biggest issue and the biggest reason for the bottom mount battery coming off has a lot of different issues than top mount. In fact, a lot of people complain these days that, oh, all these new top mounted battery frames are putting the battery in the line of damage. Well, yes and no. I used to not put my battery on top because I was damaging a lot of lipos early on when I was crashing, and it was because when you crash and you crash like this, the battery takes the brunt of the force, and so you see a lot of divots and a lot of bent batteries and a lot of issues with batteries being destroyed that way. So you throw it on the bottom, and whatever you want to say, center of gravity, the way the quad carries the battery, whatever, it does change the flight. But the one thing that you'll notice more often is that when you crash topside, you're not going to crush a battery. It's a lot harder to kill a battery when it's on the bottom with a crash, a forward crash. That being said, they take a ton of damage when landing and taking off. So you got to be careful about that, and any kind of bumps and bruises on the packs are going to happen. And so for the longest time, I ran a bottom mounted battery, and totally works fine. For me, the biggest issue of keeping a bottom mounted battery strapped down was just getting a good strap and having something to non-slip on the battery. A lot of people put non-slip pads on their frames, and I have one of those. For instance, my two main quads right now are a BRAP, which has no top pad. It actually is a flat, smooth carbon surface, and the other one is the Steez, which is almost the exact same design, but it's actually got a rubber pad on it. And funny enough, the only reason why one has a pad and one doesn't is I lost the pad on this one while I was building it and totally forgot where it went. And I've just been running it without and haven't had an issue. And the reason I haven't had an issue is all of my batteries are wrapped in electrical tape. All of my batteries are wrapped in this stuff, whether it's a CNHL or an older pack or a newer pack. All of them these days, I get them, and the first thing I do is whatever electrical tape I have, I start wrapping them. I actually do color code them according to when I got them, so I know some packs are different by the colors. But besides that, the issue is these great CNHL packs. They're beautiful, right? They're awesome. No matter what pack you fly, they're really great. They've got this nice clear coating or slit coating on them though, and the coating, or the wrapper, which is basically shrink wrap, being plastic and vinyl almost, just slides all over the place. It has nothing to grip onto, so it just slides. But you take it and you wrap it in a little bit of electrical tape, and now it's got a lot more friction. It doesn't want to slide. And what I have found over the years is you can do all kinds of padding, all kinds of foam, all kinds of different things, but this is the best for me. I mean, I've done it for 3 years almost now, and ever since I started wrapping them electrical tape, I started having almost zero slip outs. When I do have a battery slip out, it's because I crash really hard, or I hit the battery right on the right corner, or whatever it is. And even on these top mounted frames now, I'm actually finding that a pad, even a 1 millimeter thick rubber pad, adds just enough extra space to where my battery straps don't tighten right, to where the distance, it just puts the battery a little too high and it interferes with my GoPro mount just a little bit. So I'm finding that the least amount of extra that I can put on, the least amount that I can put on the strap, the better it's gonna happen. The more likely it's going to stay in place where I want it to stay in place. And so, I don't know, I mean, this is just my dumb luck and what I've been doing. Electrical tape. The only other thing that I've done before this that was a really great thing that I think works, especially for bottom mounted batteries, if I was still running bottom mounted batteries, I'd still be running my TPU shells. So I actually had TPU shells made for all my batteries. I had like 15 of them for 1,300 packs. And they basically were just a TPU box that they fit in. And on that box, there was 2 little strap guides that kept the straps kind of in place. But more so, the TPU was anti-slip basically. So against the frame and against the nuts and bolts, it wouldn't slide around. I swear by those TPU shells. Again, if I was still flying bottom mount battery frames, I would have them made for my 1,500 packs. Because I switched to the top mounts, that top mount battery, I don't need it. And I'll just say that I have crashed my top mount quads. I have had them tumble down the inside of metal framework. I've had them smash into brick and flip over and bounce and land upright, and the batteries stay still. I don't know. That's just me. That's what I do. It's what I think works best is electrical tape, electrical tape, electrical tape. Wrap it. It doesn't even have to be but 2 good thick layers. And you know, this pack right here, you're not going to be able to see too well on the live stream, but it is torn to crap on the plastic or the tape. And this one has been wrapped since March of last year. This is a battery I've been flying for over a year at this point. And it's got a little bit of damage right there on the edge where it wasn't wrapped. And that's about it. So, I don't know. That's what I had to say about batteries, keeping them strapped in. Obviously, the other key to this is gonna be a decent strap. I've had some bad ones, I've had some good ones. Any of them in that 250 to 300 millimeter range with the rubber, that's a good one. This is kind of a good all-around strap for me. A good rubberized strap though. Those are the ones that, I mean, are best. There's an Electrify RC one, but you know, the ones you get Pyroflip, they're all black rubberized. Those are gonna last just a little bit longer, but even those, I mean, you're gonna break them. All straps break, so I personally, again, wouldn't waste time chasing the best perfect strap. There's plenty of other stuff you could be doing, like flying and building and tuning and all kinds of other stuff. Don't worry about your battery straps. If it's slipping off all the time, you're doing something wrong. That's it, you're doing it wrong. Find the fault, fix it, and you'll be all right. Stay fly safe, fly smart, just fly. Peace.